Hello and welcome to your lesson, which provides a brief introduction to Raindrops and Rainbows, our toddler and preschool programmes for children 2 to 4 years. Now, during your practical training, you'll have the opportunity to look at lesson plans in a lot of detail, as well as teach and/or observe children across the age range. But by the end of this lesson, you will know how developmental difference may influence the class a child attends. First of all, let's look at the age range of these classes. Our Raindrops classes are for children 2 to 3 years, and our Rainbows classes are for children 3 to 4 years. However, it's really important to remember when talking to parents and educators that these ages are a guide only, and that in fact, developmental stage is also important. When we talk about developmental stage in relation to Pyjama drama, we're talking mainly about two aspects of development: concentration and imagination. Let's look at concentration or attention span first. Children develop at different speeds and in different ways, but generally by the age of 2, most children will be able to concentrate for around 4 to 6 minutes. But by the time they're 4, it's 8 to 12 minutes, which is a big difference. When you know this, it's easier to assess if a child is ready to join your Raindrops class, even if they might not yet be 2, or to recognise when they're ready to move from Raindrops to Rainbows, even if they're not quite 3. Now let's think about imagination. Children start to use their imaginations when they play between around 14 to 18 months. For example, a doll will be a baby and a remote control a phone. A 2-year-old uses their imagination to understand real-life events, so they may make chugging sounds when playing with their train. At this age, imaginary play scenarios are simple and they're often based on personal experience, but they will become increasingly more fantastical. So pretending the sofa is a spaceship, for example. A 3-year-old also pretends using real-life events, but has a more developed language, so assigns roles to their friends as well as taking on roles themselves, pretending that they are a vet and insisting their friend becomes the dog, for example. Emotions begin to be explored, so they'll lovingly pet their dog and express sadness because he's unwell, for example. A 4-year-old takes on increasingly complex roles and creates increasingly dramatic imaginary worlds. So they might create a whole world around a character called Dino Man and spend hours hunting and capturing dinosaurs. And their dialogue becomes increasingly realistic and they start to display a range of emotion. "Watch out, Skeletractor! I'm Dino Man the Brave, and I'll find you if it's the last thing I do!" Again, having a basic understanding of the way a child's imagination develops will help you to manage your classes effectively. So most children will start your Raindrops class when they turn 2, and most will be ready to move into Rainbows when they turn 3. But remember, developmental stage can also be a factor, which means that you might suggest a child moves into your Rainbows class before they're 3, or that 1 or 2 children stay in the class a little longer than the others. I hope you found this lesson useful and that you now understand some developmental differences and how they may influence the class a child attends. As we've said before, in practical training, you'll have first-hand experience of teaching and/or observing both age groups, and that's when things really get interesting.